Alright, what's going on everyone? Welcome to a brand new video. Today I wanted to talk about gaining strength in the gym, and make sure you stay tuned because it wasn't until I started incorporating these tips that my strength in the gym absolutely started to skyrocket. Alright, so here's the thing. I want to give you a little bit of a background. So I was never really gifted with any crazy strength or any crazy genetic stuff in the gym. And at the end of the day, I've only been lifting for 2 years. And for the first time I decided, okay, summer of 2022, I'm gonna focus on strength, put size on the back burner, and that's where tip number 1 comes in. I did come prepared with some notes. So tip number 1 is gonna be progressive overload. And I'm not gonna spend too much time on this because I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a term that gets thrown around a lot, it gets overcomplicated. But basically what it means is you progress over time, and you progress over time by either doing more sets, by doing more reps, increasing the weight. As long as you keep like some sort of journal or something, you write down how many sets you did, you write down what weight you used, and you write down how many reps you did, and then your next workout you try and do more reps or more sets or more volume or whatever. Like that's really all there is to it. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. And so I was always like playing around. I wasn't hitting my head against the wall constantly trying to do the same weight for the same amount of reps. If I failed or I wasn't able to do more than the previous time, okay, I would challenge myself in a different rep range or at a different weight and whatnot. As long as I kept switching things around and just like not doing the same thing over and over again, then that's when I started to see real progress. That brings me to tip number 2, which is gonna be listen to your body. And this is definitely one that took me such a long time to really grasp and understand, as simple as it sounds. But let's backtrack a little bit. So I started lifting weights in 2020. So 2020, literally from day 1, I was hitting the gym 6 days a week for like an hour and a half each time. When you're a beginner, your body just can't handle that. You don't handle that well. I remember especially that first month being in like so much pain. It really prevented me from being as strong as I could. You don't need a ton of volume. You don't need heavy weights to see progress and get stronger as a beginner. Let's see, and then about 6 months into lifting, I was like, I want a bigger bench press. I want to have a strong bench press. So I started bench pressing 3 times a week, heavy each time. I wasn't even like messing around with rep ranges or anything. I literally was doing heavy bench press 3 times a week, and sure enough, I hurt my AC joint. I couldn't bench press for like 9 or 10 months after that because I wasn't smart and I wasn't listening to my body. It wasn't until I started incorporating the progressive overload of like, oh, maybe I should change up the rep schemes, or maybe I should incorporate other exercises, or maybe I should have lighter days and have heavier days, and like kind of playing around with that. But yeah, no, and like for me, for example, for me right now, listening to my body is crucial. Like sometimes when I deadlift, my hips just hurt, and if they do hurt, I bag it. You know, I'm like, I'm not gonna risk getting injured. It's not worth it. You need to be smarter. You need to get good at listening to your body. Some days you're gonna feel like garbage, and that's okay. That happens. You just need to be able to adapt. And if your body's giving you pain, like don't push through it. Sometimes less is more. And in this case, with gaining strength, recovery, I believe, is crucial. You need to give your body the time to recover and get stronger so that you can have longevity in the gym and get stronger over time. So tip number 2, listening to your body. Make sure you don't neglect it. That might honestly be the most important one. All right, so tip number three is gonna be to trust the process and be patient. I think when you're living in the day-to-day, it's really easy to feel like you're not making progress. It's really easy to even feel like you're regressing a little bit and getting worse. But the important thing is that if you are consistent and if you keep showing up and like trying to incorporate progressive overload, trying to do everything you can, even on the days when you feel like garbage, like when you zoom out, that's when you see the progress. When I think of where I am now compared to 4 months ago, and it's like you don't see those small wins when they're happening, but you need to trust, and this is where that trust comes in. You need to trust that by showing up, that those tiny wins and like losses, and those you're hopefully having more wins than losses, but over time those minuscule wins are going to add up, and that's what's going to be fueling your progress over time. So I think especially with strength training, it's really easy to get caught up with like a number. Literally just like stop thinking
stop thinking, like show up, put in the work, trust the process, and then just like go from there, because at the end of the day, that's all you can do. All right, so this brings me to my fourth and final point, which is I feel like is not talked about that often, and that's going to be to train with other people. Training with other people I feel like is hugely important. I have this distinct memory. I had a friend who was visiting town in April, and I was telling him I wanted to reach a 225-pound bench press by the end of the summer, and just like having him there, I reached the 225 bench press literally that same day, 3 or 4 months before I thought I could. And so that kind of stuck with me, and I was like, okay, if I can do that, like what if I just apply that mindset into all my lifts, every single workout? And once I realized that I was capable of more than I thought I could lift, like that's when things really started to click, and that's when my strength really started to skyrocket. I used to think 315 deadlift was like incredibly difficult, and I'm like, man, if I could just get a 315 pound deadlift. And now I'm like, I want a 500 pound deadlift because 315 I just did for 15 reps the other day. So it's just like being able to know that you are capable of so much more, not only in lifting, but like this is especially something that applies into the rest of life. You know, it's just like you are capable of so much more than you think. And it's just a matter of believing that you can do it, and believing that if you keep showing up and being consistent, like things are eventually going to get better. And sometimes it just takes having someone else there to push you and tell you that you can do it right now. Speaking of strength, and kind of the whole reason why I wanted to make this video is because I did hit PRs in all 3 of my lifts this week, which I was super happy about. My bench press went from 225 to 235, my deadlift went from 405 to 425, and my squat went from 315 to 355, which I was super happy about. I'll put the videos right here.
Come on. Come on. Pull.
Pull that shit.
Up.
I'm in the middle of my strength journey right now. I've been seriously training for strength for like 4 months and have made insane progress. So I'm kind of happy to see where it's going to be even just like another 4 months from now. I hit a workout with my friend Doug 2 days ago. Since I haven't trained. I didn't train yesterday, I didn't train today because I'm taking a little bit of a rest from the PRs. We put together a little video edit, so hope you enjoy it.
From the dust I was born, to the dirt I shall return. When my eyes are closed, in the shadows, my enemies will think they won, but I am here to stay. Destiny will overcome, no, I am not afraid. Like a phoenix in the night, my soul will rise. From the darkness to the light, I feel alive. I'm a fire burning bright, I'll never die. Like a phoenix in the night, I will survive. Oh, I will survive. I'm a fire burning bright, I'll never die. Like a phoenix in the night, I will survive. Oh, I will survive. Like a phoenix in the night, I will survive. Oh, I will survive. Oh, I will survive. All the pain, all the hurt, all the lessons I have learned, I am stronger now. I won't let me down. Oh, my enemies will think
Alright, so the time is 2 a.m. and as much as I wish I could be in bed right now, had to edit the YouTube video that you just watched. Just spent the last 7 hours editing this video and I'm feeling kind of beat. Pretty tired, but I'm gonna be able to upload it tomorrow before noon. So hope you liked the video, hope you got something out of it. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.